5 elementary world, and I know we have others on here as well, but we've been watching that, and I think when you think about the fact that our teachers didn't even have a Chromebook until this year, and for us to be engaging with our kids and reaching out and making, continue to encourage learning has been it warms my heart.
And personally, our department has appreciated your support in helping us to find those additional funds to get the elementary teachers those devices, because they were definitely in need. I know we still have some work to do there, but we were glad to be a little bit ahead of that need. And how about our community? How would you say our community and families have responded?
I think you've seen some of the things going around with seniors, and you have a senior yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What a senior year. What a closure. Of course, we don't have a closure yet, but with our seniors and our community talking about how we're going to make sure we get our kids some recognition. I think that our churches have once again stepped in and filled voids, but at the same time, what a change for everyone. I mean, that Sunday component of coming together and that common place with a common message. But our community has certainly stepped up and working together. And most importantly, I think everyone's been understanding.
I think they have shown a good amount of grace. And as far as being a parent of a senior, it's definitely been a unique experience. Of course, being the guy, Joseph's like, so I won't walk, but I wonder when he's older if it'll matter. So, but
Right.
We can only do what we can do. So it's definitely an adjustment. What are some other things that you've noticed during this time?
So, taking this and teachers on the call. So on March 13th, we originally, that was a PD day, and then we canceled it. Going back, that was about 7 weeks ago. And at that point, Renee and I sat down with our admin team and anyone that was going to be directly involved here. And we started a process to work together in a way that we possibly never had to in the past. A true crisis was right in front of us, and we worked together as a team across the district. When you look at our food service, our technology, our maintenance department, all the schools coming together in one place around the logistics of a 50-mile county, and then trying to pull this off while kind of working remotely, kind of not working remotely. With those first couple of weeks were so hairy because our state had given us little guidance on those initial pieces, and to watch our district team come together and watch our buildings do what we need to do. It was so heartening. It was so warmed my heart. It was refreshing. On another side, we've noticed that we have quite the digital divide with our kids. I think that we had an idea maybe of what went on at home, or who had what, who were the haves, who were the have-nots. And I think it's really clear when we see how many families don't have a device or don't have internet service, or, we can say we have internet service or a device, but is it unlimited data? Is it a good signal? And that digital divide, I think, is very concerning I know it's concerning for me. I know it's concerning for many teachers. And in terms of how are we going to deal with that moving forward. But it's raised some really great questions around how do we serve all of our students, and how do we serve them equitably? And this has really brought that to light.
So speaking of leadership, what do you kind of use as your guiding strategies for decision making, especially in a time as unprecedented as this? It's not like we could rely on past experience or what other people have done before. This is totally uncharted territory for all of us.
That's a great question, Sandy. I lead with a sense of mission and purpose. And to me, our mission is to ensure that all of our kids walk out of our buildings being able to read and write and to add. And that mission is at the base for all of our decisions. Of course, leadership at the same time is situational. I think leading with students in your classroom, the effort that our teachers have put forth there to reach out, to connect, that's leadership. And I think leadership for me is creating leaders from others. For example, right out of the gate, we gathered people on March 17th. Our math and language arts teams came together, and we created common lessons across the district within about 3 hours, and bought us some time. But to me, leading is about creating leaders and encouraging those leaders to lead and to create almost some level of uncomfortableness while maintaining consistency. Mentors are a huge part in leadership, and I certainly have drawn on those mentors that have impacted my life and how they lead during times of crisis. And I think having that network of people to bounce ideas off of, to pick up the phone and call, to walk across, well, we can't walk across the street and talk right now, but to get on in your Google Meets and have discussions, to have that trusted group that is going to tell you that, hey, that sounds like a good idea, but have you thought of this? Or Matt, you've lost your mind. I think leadership takes on so many roles, and I think the best leaders are nimble and can respond to multiple crises.
And I think that network is hugely important during this time. I know that all of our webinars and the YouTube channels and everything else that we've done are very new to all of us. So having that person that you can try things out with and see if this is going to work, and do you see any problems with this thinking, or does this function, the way we want it to, kind of thing, has been hugely helpful during this time for us to be able to build these PD sessions, which I think has been a positive for our district, and in my opinion, anyway.
And you've done a wonderful job with this PD component. I mean, you're sending me how many people signed up today, and I feel my nervousness, just kept rising. Like at the same time, what a great, absolutely, phenomenal that we can come together and meet with leaders from across our country for these encouraging words. Just to touch base here with staff, it's very forward thinking from your department's end. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate everybody's support, and like you said, it's been a team effort. We've definitely, if you've looked at the variety of people who've been willing to present, people have really stepped up to the plate, and we're grateful for that. Very proud to be part of Currituck. So you remember probably from when I was an AIG teacher at Shawboro with you, we like to do quotes in our room. So we're kind of a quote person, and we used to do famous quotes, and the kids would have to pick from one and then share their thoughts about it as their exit ticket. So what are some of your famous quotes that you like?
I love quotes. I know a lot of our building administrators send out a quote with their newsletter. Some are sending it out daily. Jewel, you send out wonderful messages yourself. But I brought a few up here to just share with you. Nelson Mandela's, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. That I have to remind myself because it's so easy to get stuck in our heads, or to think, oh, what are people going to think about this, or am I going to get criticized? And I think it's important that each of us let our own light shine so that we can make it better for those around us. I had a friend of mine from a few years, and we're still in contact, but he looked at me, and he was, I think, about 10 to 15 years older than me and done a lot of management work. And he looked at me and he said, if you can't get comfortable with conflict, you can't get the change you desire. So any level of change does require some conflict. And I know, Sandy, you and I have had some conflict, and it's healthy conflict to get to the best product that we need. And I think it's good when people see that you can resolve, and that conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. We recognize that the power to lean on our colleagues, the power to create good networks of support for yourselves and for our kids is what we need to continue to focus on, We don't know what next year is going to lead into. We do recognize that, I think more so than ever from this event, we knew it, but then now when we see what kids have and don't have, we are working to support our kids at levels I don't know that we may have done in the past. And I think when we do return to school, I think we're going to be able to shed a different light on our kids and what access means.
Well, speaking of possible changes, the governor, I don't remember if it was the governor or the school board chairman on Friday, it was one of them who said that schools will likely look different next year, but they didn't expound on that. So, and I know we're not trying to start any rumors here. You know how things, I asked Dr. Dickey the same question, and he's like, nobody has any idea. And if they say they do, they're wrong. I get it. But we're not trying to start any rumors here, but just wondering, what are your thoughts? What do you think, nationwide, what do you think some of the changes are that we may see next year?
So I'm glad you asked that. And I, when I looked at our audience and saw, it's a great opportunity to share this. So unlike a hurricane or a flood or a tornado, the entire state and nation is in the same situation, whether you liked it or not. It was clean, and it was succinct, and it was applied to everyone across the state. And so what we're getting here is we're able to bring leaders together in think tanks, and to, instead of having isolated decision making from a single superintendent or a legislator or a different body, we're coming together and really working through how to best create policies and procedures around things that we've never worked through before. So returning next year, we don't know what that's going to look like. The best we could do, we saw this was coming because we were closed on 3/16. We closed before the governor closed school. So that